What's good, guys? I got a backtesting video for you here today. So I kind of want to preface this video because one thing that I'm noticing is the further that I get into my trading and as I mature as a trader is my trading is changing a lot. Unless you trade a totally 100% mechanical system, your discretion is obviously going to grow, right? And you're going to kind of change the way that you trade and adapt it and optimize it because there's no reason to not improve your trading, right? You might not totally switch your strategy, but you will constantly be adjusting and improving as market conditions change and as you improve as a trader. So for this video, I'm going to be, going over some setups, but I want to let you know that as I'm like improving, I've noticed that a lot of my trades are becoming, not off candle closures. I'm not necessarily like taking the same trades as I used to, and I'm entering a lot sooner, I'm entering a lot differently, and I'm using a lot of live concepts. So as I backtest, I think the reason I've been doing this less is because it's just not as good of a representation of the way that I trade. Obviously, it's still going to hopefully show you guys some good discretion. It's going to help you learn, and I'm going to be going over the concepts that I use, but it won't be a perfect representation. So I just wanted to preface that we are going to be picking a random month here, and then I have a list of the dates pulled up that I've done before just to make sure I don't have a repeat. So let me make sure that this isn't a repeat and I will get to it. All right, so I have done 2022 and 2025. So we're just gonna ask it to pick between 2023 and 2024. I'm just trying to make this as random as possible, but I want to do something relatively recent. Okay, so we got 2024. So we are going to go to 2024. I'm going to get this set up. Basically, for those of you that don't know, I trade continuation and like my entry model is starting to get pretty thin, I would say. So like the things that I'm entering off of don't really matter as much as they used to. I'm just looking like using my discretion and looking for a good protected stop loss with a good draw on liquidity. Those are the two main things that I'm looking for, right? I'm starting to realize, these institutions are not looking for fair value gaps before they look to take a trade. They're not looking for any of these ICT arrays before the market moves, right? They are just moving the market regardless. These things are just what we use as retail traders to analyze the market. So, I don't need to see certain things to happen. I'm just using them to help do my analysis as a retail trader with limited information. So, sometimes I'm entering off of hopes and dreams, but if I have a good stop loss with a good draw on liquidity, those are the two most important things to me. So hopefully I can show you guys some good setups, even if it's not exactly what I'd be taking live time, or I'm probably going to end up missing out on some trades because I'm not able to take as many mid candle. Hopefully you can see some good stuff. So holy yap, I know I'm talking and talking, but we'll just get straight to it. So first thing that we're looking at is we want to see a good draw on liquidity. In terms of liquidity here, we've already taken out these highs. So unless we want to continue higher, this is going to be the first draw that I want to see. It's a fair value gap below, right? On the higher time frame, main thing we're looking for liquidity is imbalances and highs and lows. So this is the first thing I want to see. I'm also looking at my mid time frames a lot. I want to look at the most recent gaps and see what they're telling me. So if the most recent gaps are holding a certain direction, I'm going to be leaning that. So I'm seeing that on the 15-minute, the most recent gap we have is here, and it's showing that we're more bullish overall. Same with the 5 minutes, but honestly, if we trade below this 5-minute gap, I'll be open to taking these shorts probably. So I want to see what happens here. This price action already doesn't look great. I don't know why, but it's pretty slow. So let's see. Okay, so as you'll see, right, this 15-minute gap idea is holding. So if this keeps holding, then I will be leaning more long until we get below that. So let me skip a little more and see. Okay, we're starting to get through that there. Hourly candle closed. Let's check. Hourly closure is super showing that we want to come down to this gap. So I will be leaning for this. I kind of want to see some sort of movement up because we only have a tiny wick on this hourly candle. It would be nice to see some sort of up movement before we come down and take out this low. So let's see. Unfortunate that we did not get that. All right, damn, bruh. Like, it was pretty obvious that we want to come to this gap, but I really just wanted to see some sort of other movement, like not just this tiny wick. Like maybe we wanted to move like this and then we come lower. And after that, maybe you could have shorted somewhere in here. But yeah, I would say from this point, I probably would be done because if we start ping-ponging out of this gap, yeah, bro. Oh, hold on. Actually, maybe I'll look for something. I probably wouldn't be trading anymore at this point after we've taken that draw, but let me see if there is something in here. 5-minute looks really strong to the upside. And look at this hourly closure, right? We respect that hourly gap, come higher. Let's see if we get a nice retracement and then a big up move. We could potentially look for something. All right, since we're losing the volume, it's kind of cooked, I would say. Dang. It's not that you can't trade this, and I think a long idea is going to play out, but it's just I wouldn't be trading at this point. I don't really want the dead volume. All right, next day. I'm going to try and be a little bit aggressive because I want to make sure I'm actually catching some trades for you guys. So let's see what I can do. All right, I see this here. I don't really love that we have this gap like protecting these lows, but that only means so much, you know. It depends. I want to follow the trend. Like I'm open to being reactive to what it gives me. So in this case, right, I'm looking at my mid time frame. What am I seeing? This 15-minute gap is holding nicely. If you guys take a step back and you look at the 5 and the 15-minute and even like 30-minute or whatever you use for your mid time frame, you just look at like fair value gaps and other PD arrays or whatever, right? They will tell you a lot about the market. The concepts hold up. Even if you're looking at supply and demand, the concepts hold up. You just need to take a step back and look at a higher time frame. In this case, if this 15-minute gap holds and we get a nice closure lower, I will be leaning shorts until we get above this because there's no reason for us to come higher. So let's see what happens. But it looks like it's holding nicely. We did sweep out a lot of liquidity at the bottom here though. So I want to see if we get a reaction. Okay, so we're not reacting higher. But look, like I said, as long as this gap is holding, I'm not looking for long. So I'm going to lean shorts here. I would love to see a retrace, but it might be too late for one. Damn. All right, I'm not gonna lie, this is like a weak retrace. Like when we get these massive dump all the way down here, and then this sad retrace up a little bit, like it shows that we're obviously bearish, but you really don't want to get manipulated out of a position like this. So I suppose you can take this, but I'm not gonna lie, I would probably fade this just to be safe. But yeah, it does deliver, but it is what it is, right? This is just me being safe. Yeah, next day. We'll see. Okay, so first thing I'm seeing, right, we're in like this bit of this choppy range. We did tap this 4-hour and notice we're slowing down a lot in here. So a lot of the time for me, this means that we want to come up to a gap. I'm not saying that we're necessarily like bullish all the way up, but we might want to retrace a gap now since we're slowing down in this gap here. This might be the next target above. So that is my target, but I'm going to mark out this as well because sometimes you want to be careful targeting through multiple liquidity draws. So again, now I'm going to look at my mid time frames. What are they telling me? Most recent gap is, I guess, technically this. So this is holding 15 minutes. We'll see. I think this is going to hold. I kind of feel like we're coming higher, so I'm not going to judge yet, but yeah, okay, so we are coming higher. All right, as long as this holds, the 15-minute did close below it, but the 5 minutes holding, I think this is pretty bullish. I think it's reasonable to long this up to this high and potentially even hold to the next high. I will not be doing that. I want the 1-to-1, so I'm just going to put it there. Maybe, again, live, maybe you enter this sooner, but who's to say? Anyways, let's see. There we go. Nice. Cool delivery there. I kind of want to see if we end up coming to the next high, but another thing I want to go over with this one really quick before that is, as you'll see, right, the old, like a lot of continuation traders are so locked in on this idea of like, we need market to open, we need a massive pump in one direction, and then a retracement and then entry. And you're just not getting that, especially these days. I've noticed a lot of these days are delivering straight to the draw. So, you know, be prepared. Like in this case, right, I had a protected stop loss. Ideally, it should have been like here, but like this was protected enough, right? So the point is, even if you had your stop here, maybe I could have targeted just a couple points above, but there's a protected stop and I have a good draw on liquidity higher. I think we want to come higher. It's a good draw. It doesn't matter what I entered off of. I just entered off of this displacement. You could have entered off of any other like concept. You could have entered off of the 1 minute IFVG down here. You could have entered off of whatever you think makes sense. But yeah, bro, like that's what's important. You don't always need to see that pattern entry for continuation. So let's see if we take the next one. No, okay. So I think we're going to take it now, but you would have obviously got stopped out off that huge wick. So, all right, next day, 1-0. Let's see what we can get out of this. Okay, so I'm seeing we've come down, we've taken this out. Again, we're still inside this gap, but now that we've retraced a bunch of this liquidity, maybe we're ready to come through it. But because we're slowing down so much in this, like there's really no obvious draw yet. So I'm going to kind of wait and see. I probably won't trade this, honestly. Like I like these higher draws up here, but I don't know. I just don't, something about this price action I'm not loving. Like this, bro, barcoded. Let's check our mid time frame. We did get a nice tap into here, so as long as this holds, we should be coming higher. It's probably too late to enter. We also have news in 1 minute, I guess. So okay, news takes that. Unfortunate. Let's see. Yeah, bro, took the high. Again, maybe you could have tried something off of this, but I think you'd be doing negative R. Stop loss down here. So next trade or next day. Okay, let's see. All right, so again, bro, hold on. FX replay is trash. Yo, trade full sponsor me, bro. I'll make videos on your website. All right, 4 hour here. Ended up finally coming through this, but bro, we are just struggling for some reason to come down. So I'm going to mark out a higher draw. This is one where I'm definitely gonna look at my mid time frame, see what we're seeing. So in this case, mid time frame shows that we're bullish, but we do have a news low, it looks like. So keep this in mind. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we're obviously starting to come toward this, but we're gonna need some sort of retracement before we enter. All right, this I would say is a good entry. Obviously, like no entry is perfect, and I don't really like that we have like a 50-point stop targeting almost 100 points on this one. Again, no entry is perfect, but at this point, like maybe we want stronger displacement, but do you see we're getting this really strong down move. We got this nice pullback. This is a reasonable entry toward what I would say is a good enough draw on liquidity. I don't like that the previous 15-minute is still holding this, but again, it only means so much. I would say that I'm confident enough in this that if it doesn't deliver, it's kind of like it is what it is. Maybe you go stop loss here to be extra safe, but yeah, at a point, nothing's 100%. So let's see. There we go. Nice. Okay, so we'll go break even. Maybe we start trailing on this one. When I'm targeting like 100 points, gang, like if I get stopped out at 70 points, I'm not complaining. You want to obviously give the trade like room to run, but even here, I'd probably be at least getting a winning day out of this. Okay, cool. It doesn't matter anyways, but yeah. Maybe you enter this sooner even, but I want to see a little more displacement because I feel like this wasn't the fastest leg down, but yeah, this was the trade. Okay, cool. We are 10 minutes in. All right, let's see if we can get through. Try to get like a couple more. I don't know how many we're going to get out of this. We are in September 9th. Okay. Let's see. So first thing I'm seeing here, we did take this low, and then we were inside that gap. It makes sense we want to come retrace some price, but unfortunately, we already took this 4 hour, which would have been the most obvious draw. After sweeping this, you would have wanted to target the 4 hour, but because we took that, we also took this hourly gap. I'm not gonna lie, don't have a really good draw here. I like higher. I like the idea of higher, but there's just no clean draw, I would say. Bro, this chair creaky as hell. Okay. I'm gonna mark out this. Wickless 1 hour gap that we're moving toward. 5 minutes is showing bearish. Obviously 1 minute's bearish. Oh, yo, even, bro, I was just on the higher time frame. Even this, bro, doesn't look bad. Holy. This to here. Come on, some sort of flip here. Okay, I think we have to enter this. This looks good to me, I'd say. Yeah, I would say that this is a strong enough draw. We have come through some liquidity, but we did inverse this nicely. We already got a nice upwick on that candle. We have a pretty clean break even, targeting about a 1-to-1. This is clean enough. Let's see. Hopefully we deliver here. Nice. Okay, I would say you pretty much have to be break even here. Even though like this could retrace, but I don't know. Something about like this kind of sus. I don't like that this is starting to go down. Maybe you could instead just reduce your risk. Like you don't necessarily have to go break even. Maybe you go here instead, but I don't really see a point. Like I guess it's very possible we could tap this gap, so maybe that's the point, but I don't know. At this point, I would just probably be break even. Like once I've already come down and taken out this much like of my trade, like already 50% of the trade done, I don't really think it makes sense to have more risk on the table, I would say. So let's see. Hopefully we deliver though. All right, that's the break even. And yeah, bro, exactly. Like on one like this, it just didn't make sense because if we're coming back up into here, I don't think we want to continue lower at that point. So break even. Okay, cool. Damn, we totally flipped out of there. That's crazy. All right. Next. Okay. Oh man, bro. I don't like this target. Like, again, higher just looked good. Initially coming into this, higher looked good. But what is this target? All the way up here. I don't think we're going to get this intraday right now in this price action. 200 points. Probably not. So first thing that I'm going to mark out is this, because this is the most reasonable potential draw here. I mean, we swept this. So maybe because we swept out this liquidity, the next draw might be to go and take out some sort of imbalance on the chart. But in terms of like our 5 and 15 minute, we have so many gaps here that could hold. So I'm going to watch and see. But all right, that's a very nice movement. Let's see. I don't want to film my entry. So let's see if we get a retracement, then we short. Okay. I don't really love this candle, but this isn't bad, I don't think. Let's see. Here, stop loss. We'll just go like that, halfway into the wick. This is not clean. I'm not gonna lie, this is not the cleanest, but yeah, bro. Okay, glad I faded that one because that was not the cleanest. All right, we ended up taking the low, so the draw on liquidity is correct, but this entry just didn't really make sense, to be honest, I would say. Okay. Oh my gosh, next day. Do we finally? All right, we're finally getting movement toward this draw, so that's good at least. Looks like we put in a new slow. Nice. Oh, we already took both of them. Never mind. Okay, this one I'm going to be really paying attention to my mid time frames. We have this current gap that we've tapped into, but I think we're about to close through it because this candle should be closing in a second. We also have this, right? If these are holding, we should come higher, right? If we get displacement below these, I'm open to looking for a short, but other than that, we should come higher. We've already come down, tapped this gap, you know, we've taken out like I don't really think we want to come lower, so these are like really what I'm going to be paying attention to. I'm not always marking these out. I might have said this. I'm not always marking these out though. A lot of time I'm using it subconsciously, but unless we're really dumping through them, which we seem to be, then okay. I'm not liking this hesitation though. Like 15 minute, the 5 minute ended up like disrespecting this gap, but you also have to like think about this. These are like all stacked, so technically we'd have to get through all of this, I feel like, to really hold that bearish bias. Okay, I'm going down to 1 minute. Okay, we're obviously not bullish at this point, so I don't really like this. Like this, like V, bro. What am I looking at on the 15-minute time frame, dude? I don't even know what I'm doing right now with this, bro. Like this is like the slowest like sell off ever. Like we're literally just like chopping to the downside. This really isn't like ideal price action. I don't really love the draw, so I think I'm going to fade this, but this would be the setup. Okay, well, there you go. All right, next day. Gotta reload too, bro. Trade full, bro. Contact me, I swear. I'll drop FX replay, drop the subscription, snapping my finger. Okay, we'll see. Looks like we have a news low, I think. I'm lying. Oh wait, actually that's not what I was looking at, but there is a news high here. In terms of this though, say this bullish 4-hour gap makes the most sense, right? Because we're really high on this trend. Even though we have the news above, I genuinely think this is what's going to happen. Boom, we come down, take this, straight to the news high. I was feeling so confident. I was considering even just shorting open, but I didn't want to get manipulated. All right, now that's the movement higher. You know what? For the culture, bro, we're going for this. Because this looks kind of reversal based, and I'm not saying that this is going to play, but if you think about it on the higher time frame, like look at this trend, right? Even though this is like a reversal on the low time frame, you have to think about it like we're looking at a big up move, so we got the retracement. So assuming we continue in a bullish trend, the next displacement should be higher up into that news high. We swept the only thing I wanted to see get taken out before we come higher, so I think it's reasonable to believe that we could just long this. Obviously, it's not the perfect, most perfect entry, maybe even stop loss here, but let's just see. Maybe you want to wait for more confirmation, but I think it's fine. Let's see. Golly, bro. What is that PA, bro? Oh my gosh. Okay, next day. It was a little crazy, I'm not gonna lie. All right, again, first thing here I'm seeing we have this unfilled gap. Even though we're more bullish, I imagine we want to retrace this gap before coming higher. So checking my time frames real quick. We look like we should be more bearish overall, so let's see. Okay, I'm wrong. Hourly, it's about to take that high, but it's pretty much too late for me to be trading up to that. So we're about to have news in a second. Okay, there's the news. Just go to the 5 minute. Yeah, bro. The longer I sit here and do this, bro, I feel like it just gets more miserable, bro. Okay, mark out this low. All right. Looks like a good low, but we also have this gap above, which is perfectly reasonable. We might want to sweep this gap before coming down to the low, or vice versa. So I'm going to mark out either and then wait and see what the chart gives me. Mid time frame tells me we're slightly more bearish, but I want to see. Okay, cool. All right, I don't want to take, again, like a reversal trade here, but I do think we're more bullish on this. I don't really want to enter at this point because I feel like it's kind of, I don't know, it's not the best entry. Like maybe we want to see a little bit more of a retracement, but at this point, right, we've wicked this really hard. I don't think we're coming lower. I think we want to come up for that gap above, so we're just going to go for this. This is like more something I feel like I would take if I was live trading, so yeah, nice trade there, bro. Yeah, I think you guys get the point, right? We swept this. I just had a point that makes sense. There's no more reason for us to come lower. So, like, you can call this a reversal trade, but to me, it's really just following the trend, right? On the trend, higher time frame, what are we doing? We go up, retrace, we go up, and then we retrace. So the next step should be to continue higher. All right, let's see if I can get one more trade. We're at like 20 minutes, so one more good trade, and then we'll be out of here. All right, so I see we have the new week opening gap, but it's been tapped, so it's not like, I mean, not on the 4 hour, but it's not like blaring. I mean, this should be the draw lower, but I don't know. For some reason, this is like, just really seems to not want to come to it yet. Maybe it's going to happen like overnight sometimes when this is happening. Mid time frame tells me we're more bullish, but let's just see. It makes sense, I guess, to trade toward it, but okay. Oh, I know some IFVG demons took this up here, bro. Off this sweep IFVG here, but we'll see. Okay. All right, hear me out. If we target this low, maybe we get a better risk to reward. Again, bro, this is the worst part about trading in the in the backtesting stuff is I would want to be entering this up here, targeting this, and you want your stop loss up here, right? But in this case, this just isn't gonna happen. So maybe I'll limit order this, but the problem is I want to see us come up first. I don't really want to take the low. Okay, yeah, exactly. Like I don't really want to be entering this if we reject off the low. So, and yeah, there's the second low, bro. It's unfortunate. It's incredibly unfortunate, but. Okay. Here, 4 hour. Okay, we ended up tapping the gap, but we'll see if we want to. Kind of want to get an idea of the direction. Hold on. Okay. This is the first low we could be coming for. It's a little late, honestly. 5 minutes shows bearish. We might get a reaction at this low, though. Hold on. Okay. This low time frame looks good, but the high time frame looks choppy as hell. Like I do not like that we got this strong of reaction, but we did come up, take this gap, and as you know, right, a lot of the time what we're doing is we are liquidity gaps, liquidity gaps. So in this case, we took liquidity, went up, took the gap. Our next draw might very well be more liquidity to the downside. If you took this, right, this would be the target, but I almost think this is even like reasonable. Call me crazy, but maybe you just, instead of going for something like this, I feel like we're just going to take this and we might reverse off there. I'm scared. Let me see what happens. We'll just, whatever, take this one. Okay. Yeah, bro. In backtesting, I can't go break even because, or like this, but you would be break even at this low. So this would have been a break even trade. Win or lose, I wouldn't have won this anyways. So yeah, should be break even at this low. But see, now it delivers. Okay, cool. Next one. Come on, I need one good trade, bro, so I can be out of here. Let's see. On the 4 hour here, targeting this high is the first thing I see, but we did just sweep out this high. So as always, perfectly reasonable. If we did just sweep out a bunch of liquidity, we could want to come retrace some sort of gap. In this case, we also have, it looks like a news low. No, it's not. All right, never mind. But mid time frame, this is the like first thing we want to be paying attention to is this gap below. If we respect this gap, then we should come higher. If we inverse this gap, it's reasonable to believe we want to come lower down to that fair value gap below. So see what we get here. Okay, we got a strong reaction out of there. So we should be holding bullish. Maybe if you wanted to long this, you should have already been in longs. It does not make sense to enter all the way up here. So, okay. So I do think that idea is going to hold up. I know this is a slightly bad entry, but we're going to try and limit this. Hopefully it'll be fortunate enough to enter me in again, because like I said, right, if you think about this, the longs are obviously not playing out. We swept liquidity. What do we do after we sweep liquidity? Is a lot of time we're going to go retrace into fair value gaps. But because we are trading this live, I don't have an, or I mean, backtesting, I don't have an opportunity to enter mid candle. But we did sweep this low, so maybe we come up, take this, and then deliver to the lows. Hopefully this blesses me with a fill, but I don't think it will. Okay, it fills me now, but I'm gonna close it because I wanted to be in before it took that low. But yeah, I wanted to try and get in. Hopefully it would fill me. But in live time, you would be entering this mid candle, bro. Please. Okay, thanks. Next one. This is why backtesting doesn't hit the same anymore, bro. Trust me, if you're new to trading, I think backtesting is a great resource, but it just, once you get far, I just doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't hit the same anymore, bro. All right, so we took this gap. Maybe we come to the next gap, but at this point, since we already took this gap on the high time frame, I think liquidity might be the next, or sorry, like a higher low might be the next target. So I don't really think we need to take this 4 hour gap, but if we're holding bearish, then I guess it's reasonable enough. I'm going to check again. My mid time frame show me most recent gap is here. That's holding currently. 5 minute most recent gap is here. I am leaning almost slightly bearish on this though. So I want to see. Okay, I'm not really liking that it's struggling, but the bearish bias is holding up. Retracement here and then nice displacement, and I'll short this. Yeah, I think this is good. Okay, like I said, I like the bearish idea. If you just look at the high time frame, I don't know, I think it looks more bearish overall. We're going to target that other 4 hour gap. Hopefully this one wins. Even if this loses, we're going to have to call it here, I'm going to be honest. So, all right, let's see. I'm holding this. No break even. Okay, bro. All right, this might have been a break-even trade. You know, live time, I probably would have closed this in profit or break-even. So it doesn't really matter. Anyways, the point of this is hopefully you guys were able to learn something. Like I said, backtesting is not going to be a perfect representation of your trading. If you are not getting backtesting results, it doesn't mean that you're a bad trader. But if you are consistently doing really bad in backtesting, maybe there's something you need to fix. But hopefully this was able to teach you something anyways. I just want to show you guys my discretion, and I feel like this is the easiest way that I can show you a bunch of trades. Again, hopefully you learned something. If you have any trading questions, consider joining the Discord. It's free and I can help you out, or just comment them below. And again, appreciate you for being here. Hope to see you in the next video.